Hello, my name is Littleton Tazewell, and I became a member of the congregation of St. Francis in 2012, shortly after arriving in Pretoria for an assignment with the United States Agency for International Development. I served as a lay Eucharistic minister and participated in the contemplative prayer group at St. Francis during our 4 years in Pretoria. And I've continued to participate in the St. Francis community virtually and on occasional visits, both while on assignment in Malawi and now in retirement in the United States. The St. Francis congregation remains an important part in my spiritual life. The word of the day is splendor. Advent is a time of preparation for the coming of Jesus into the world, both for the celebration of the birth of Jesus and for the preparation for the second coming of Christ. Splendor is a word that is used in the Bible to describe a number of things. The clothing of the daughters of Saul in 2 Samuel, the presence of Jehovah in 1 Chronicles, and how to worship Jehovah in 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, as well as Psalm 29, 45, 96, and 104. Also describes God's human creation in Psalm 8, and God's power, majesty, and works generally in Psalm 110, 111, and 145. It also describes wealthy and corrupt Jerusalem in Isaiah 4 and Lamentations 1, as well as rich people in Luke 16, the devil's temptation of Jesus in Luke 4, God in Ephesians 1, Solomon in Luke 12, and the second coming of Jesus in 2 Thessalonians. Translators will also often use glory in the place of splendor. For me, I am drawn to Luke 12:27, in which Jesus said, "Observe the lilies, how they grow. They neither labor nor spin. And yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was as beautifully dressed as one of these." As we approach the third Sunday of Advent, I'm thinking about the image of that young family with a very pregnant Mary making their way to Bethlehem to register with the authorities. Within their simplicity, poverty, and humility is a beauty that is beyond the splendor and majesty of royalty. And this lowly family is about to bring into the world a light to bring everyone out of darkness. The gospel for the third Sunday in Advent, at least according to the Episcopal Church here in the United States, comes from John 1, chapter 1, verses 6 through 8 and 19 through 28. In which John focuses on the role of John the Baptist, the witness sent by God to testify to Jesus as the light of the world. The definition of splendor is great brilliance, richness, or glory. As the light of the world, Jesus brings splendor in the form of great brilliance, richness, and glory. Jesus in the Nativity story comes into the world in simplicity, poverty, and humility. Yet he is recognized by the shepherds and wise men for the splendor of his birth. If you follow the teaching of Jesus, I believe you will find splendor surrounds you. Splendor is about beauty in God's creation, not earthly riches. There can be splendor in the simple, the impoverished, and the humble, but you must take time to see it and to be present to it. I find that in silent contemplation, we are able occasionally to hear God's word. And in hearing, we're able to see the splendor of God in all the small details that make up our lives. As you prepare to celebrate the birth of Jesus and prepare for his coming again, I pray that the splendor of God's majesty makes itself apparent in all that surrounds you. God has created in each of us a reflection of the splendor that only God can truly give. Thank you.